Hey guys, my name is Gary Martin from rggedu.com. Today I'm going to be taking you through how to replace the RAM that came with your iMac with RAM from a third party that we got from OWC or MacSales.com. So we upgrade all of our computers' RAM through third-party RAM for a number of reasons. The main reason is because it's a whole lot cheaper than buying RAM and upgrading from Apple. Now keep in mind that you're not really gaining anything with upgrading RAM through Apple except giving them way more money than they should. Apple is getting RAM from another company, and RAM is RAM. You're not going to get anything better out of the RAM from Apple than you are a RAM from a third-party company. And if you get it from a third-party company, it's still going to be under warranty, and having that RAM in your computer is not going to void your warranty with Apple. So replacing it correctly is not going to void your warranty, and you're going to save a little bit of money in the process. So standard with this Mac, it comes with 8 gigabytes of RAM, and it's 4 2 gigabyte modules. We're going to replace it with 4 8 gigabytes modules to give us a total of 32 gigabytes of RAM, and that's actually going to max out this current generation iMac. The most we're going to be able to put in is 32 gigabytes of RAM. If you're looking for more RAM than that, or if you've used a computer with 32 gigabytes and want to go higher, you are going to have to upgrade to the Mac Pro, which Apple says can go to 64. With third-party RAM, you can take it up to 128. So with this generation iMac, they've obviously changed the body style from that thicker generation iMac that was more square. And in doing so, they had to put the RAM in a completely different place. The nice thing about this generation iMac is you don't need any tools to do it. The only thing that you're going to want to keep in mind is you're going to want to work on a plastic non-conductive surface, and you're also going to want to be wired to the ground. So with this electrostatic bracelet, it basically grounds myself and is going to prevent me from creating a charge and sending that charge into the computer and essentially frying the computer or messing with any of the internal components. So this is very easy to do if you do it correctly. So following these steps, you're going to be able to get a stock iMac from Apple, get third-party RAM from somewhere like OWC, and save a few bucks in the process. So the first thing we want to do is turn the computer around. We want to have the computer completely unplugged from power. You do not want to have any computer ever plugged in while you're working on it. So that is step one. Step two, once you unplug from power, there is going to be a little button right there. So the button with your finger is a little hard to push in, so you'll get something like a non-conductive plastic stick, and you're going to want to just push that button in, and you see once you do that, the bottom will push out of this back kind of rectangular area where the RAM's at. So we want to take this off, set that down, and then you'll see here on the back side there is going to be 2 trays that will essentially pull the RAM out. So we want to, at the same time, get your fingers in there, push that tray out. That will come down. And then we're going to want to go in and individually take one of these out. Now I will say that this model iMac is probably the hardest iMac to change RAM on, just because of the awkward position. They sure did make one hell of a thin computer, but it is damn near impossible to get your fingers in there and get the RAM out. So a lot for a few minutes of trying to get RAM out of this angle of position. So we want to get in there the best you can, and just trying to grab it. And it's a lot easier once you get the first one out. So what you want to keep in mind once you get that first one out is how exactly that was seated in there. And if you notice here, I have the sticker was down and the groove in the RAM itself was to the left. Make sure not to touch any of these gold teeth, and keep in mind that this groove is essential to getting the new RAM back in, because you can't put in RAM backwards, but you're going to want to know how it was seated in there. So keep that in mind. Sticker down and the groove is to the left, and place that back in there, and then go back in, and one at a time we'll just pull these out. And you know, RAM is traditionally seated in there pretty well, so expect to have a little bit of a challenge getting them out, and it might be harder for some people who don't have like a gorilla monkey grip with their fingers. All right, so we've gotten all 4 RAM modules out, and now we're going to put in the RAM that we got from OWC. So keep in mind, I have the sticker down and the groove is to the left. So that's the exact same way we want to put it in, because it is impossible to put RAM in backwards, but you will make a fool of yourself and make yourself look pretty stupid if you try and do it. So the first thing we want to do is line up the grooves with one another, and when getting RAM back in, don't be afraid to push a little harder than you would think. The RAM itself is a little bit of a challenge to get back in there, but if you use just a little bit of gentle force, it will be seated correctly. So, all right, make sure both sides put pressure on the left, right, and middle, and make sure that it's in there evenly. You should be able to tell if one of the RAM modules is not seated correctly and is sticking out a little further than the other. So just one at a time, going from bottom to top, we're going to just install all of this RAM. Got it. And you're listening for the click. And once you install the first one, you should be able to kind of feel when the next ones are in. And wait for it. So that one just got seated. And then we want to push these back in, and you'll kind of hear that click. And then if you notice with this guy, it's all in there based off of pressure, and these metal rings essentially are holding it in there with pressure. So putting it in there, you're going to have to just kind of push a little bit harder than you think. Putting the top in first, and then just kind of gently pushing on the bottom, and you'll hear it kind of click in there. So there you have it, with literally no tools outside of my anti-static wristband to prevent any electricity from being transferred from my fingers to the computer itself. We have just upgraded the RAM from OWC. We saved ourselves a couple $100 from doing it through Apple. And we can now send our RAM that we got from Apple back to OWC, which will then give us a credit. So that's more ducats in our pockets. That's good. So if you have a new computer, or you're thinking about getting a new computer from Apple, consider not getting the RAM from Apple. It's kind of like getting your tires from the dealership. You just don't do it. It's just not a best practice. And you don't need to. RAM is RAM. Keep that in mind. RAM is RAM. RAM from them is not better than RAM from them. It's just more expensive. That's all it is. So if you liked this tutorial, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. We're RGG EDU. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's RGG EDU everywhere. So just start subscribing. All right. We'll check you later. Over and out. And don't forget to get your pets spayed or neutered.